Gamer Feed Radio.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Gamer Feed Radio. It's the sort of thing where we talk about video games. This is episode 38. Today we'll be talking about video game movies. The few times that Hollywood has done gaming justice, and the many times that something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. We'll also be taking a nostalgia trip down memory card lane. My name is Rob Pugh. I'll be your host today. You can find me on PSN, where my username is Pugbert, or on Nintendo Network, where my name is Pugsley, if you're so inclined. Joining me here today, the man whose top 10 games list includes 47 items, Brad Wallace.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry. I forgot your... Here we go.
Nice.
Sorry. There's a lot of coordination going on
quiet,
over here.
okay.
It's crazy with the board. I'll get it right on this next one, okay?
I like it.
All right. And the finest beard you'll never see, because this is an audio-only podcast. And I have to admit, I wrote that, and then I was worried that you'd be barefaced this week, so I had to ad-lib something instead. So, joining us also here today, Kyle Pope.
Yeah,
Nice.
Good to be back.
Absolutely.
How's it going, boys?
It's been my first show in a little while, too.
Yeah?
I had to dip out from my amiibo dealer.
You
during
did?
the multiplayer
Your
show.
amiibo deal?
Yeah, literally.
That sounds shady, Brad.
Yeah, it was
that sounds shady.
We met in a CVS parking lot. He gave me my Toon Link. I was a happy man.
I noticed you didn't get shanked.
Yeah, I made it through. I don't know how.
You know, I swear, like, a day after that, I saw a Toon Link in a store
No,
like,
you
for 12
didn't.
I swear to God I
No,
did.
you didn't.
I swear I did.
They don't exist.
They do, too.
They don't sell amiibos in stores.
I saw it on the
Rob.
shelf.
You don't
I was
understand. You can buy them through scalpers on Craigslist and eBay.
Not true.
They don't sell them at stores, actual retail.
So this is a real thing. This actually happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I have the guy's number. He texts me. He's like, hey, dude, I just got a Sheik. Do you want it? I was like,
What?
oh, no. He's like my dealer, literally.
Your
Yeah.
amiibo dealer. Oh my god.
I told him to keep an eye out for Rosalina. I'll pay top dollar.
Is Sheik actually hard to find? Because I found Sheik pretty... Well, I found Sheik on the first day it was available, so...
Sure.
He or she. I don't know how to use... I don't know the pronoun used.
See,
No one is as. I mean,
It's a
no
she.
one.
I don't get why people call it a he. Like, that's the least worst kept secret in Zelda.
Because Sheik, as the fictional character that Zelda is in disguise as, I think, is male.
Yeah, but it's like...
But then it could be one of those...
What are you describing? The disguise or the
Or the
character?
person, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But then you don't know if you were calling it... If you knew it was female, you'd be saying Zelda instead.
But Sheik is a form of Zelda. It's not like she changes genders. She disguises herself. And even then, very feminine-looking figure. I don't. That sounds creepier than it should, but I don't know. On those blocky N64 graphics.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Those blocky and sometimes pointy.
Yeah.
Very pointy.
Speaking of pointy, we'll be talking about Tomb Raider later on, but that's just a little tease.
Just a little tease.
Wow.
So
I was
before we
about to
get
say
too much
something
farther,
horrible.
we're already there, kind of, but just for the sake of making it official, we're going to start off today with our random access segment.
Ooh.
This is our
It's
new
a new
icebreaker
one, yeah.
segment. Yeah, this is your first time, both of you guys, on the random access segment.
Go easy on
Basically, the idea is this is our icebreaker segment. This is our talk about anything that's not necessarily video game segment. So,
Whoa.
have at it. Anything on your mind?
Not
got
to
anything?
make this horribly sad, but I've been thinking about Harrison Ford because
Oh, yeah.
as of this
Yeah.
recording, it was breaking news that he was in a plane accident.
Yes, he
And
was.
that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking a lot about because like Indiana Jones is like top 5 movies of all time.
There we
Raiders
go.
of the Lost
There we
Ark.
go.
No, literally, Raiders is like one of my absolute favorite
Yeah.
movies. I like
Already,
Indiana
Brad
Jones.
says something that's completely untrue.
I like Indiana Jones way better than Star Wars, but it's hard to. I mean, you can't go wrong with Han Solo.
All right, I'm out.
What?
I mean, trust me, I'm like the biggest Star Wars fan, but
Wow.
I like Indiana Jones that much more, though.
Wrong.
More consistent in quality, even given the fourth Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I mean, sure, but this is.
I think
Star
all
Wars was
3
first.
Indiana Jones are better than all 3 even original Star Wars movies.
I'm gonna kill him.
I'm sorry, but I'm on
gonna
his
kill
side
him.
on here.
I'm gonna kill him.
Just not that. Trust me.
I'm gonna
First
kill you
Star
too.
Wars and Empire are like fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, literally
Two of the
some of the
best
best
movies
movies ever.
Yeah.
Like no question.
But
Return of the Jedi, it's kind of has moments that are really good. But
I'll
like
take
compared
that.
like Last Crusade to Return of the Jedi, I think Last Crusade's way better.
I'm on Brad's side here.
Not that
Oh.
even if you compare the prequel trilogy to Episode 4 Indiana Jones, not Episode 4, but the fourth Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't talk about the prequel
Exactly.
trilogy. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
but I mean, Raiders is my absolute favorite. I was
God.
a Crystal Skull apologist, so
I was too, but since it's been years removed, I see I can totally understand the criticisms.
Yeah, I get people's points when they're talking about it, but still.
I don't think it's aged well at all. I think when it came out, I liked it. Like I genuinely liked Crystal Skull a lot. But I just watched all of them again last year, and it did not hold up at all.
Well, I think with Crystal Skull, it kind of feels like almost a forced hokiness to stick with the kind of genre they're going for, the kind of pulpy.
It's weird decisions
50s.
too, like to bring Marion back and make her his wife at the end. Like
I don't
it's
think
so
that's weird.
I think it's very weird.
I think it makes more sense than Willie.
Indy
Yeah.
on repeat for 2
Or
hours.
Dr. Elsa Schneider.
Yeah, well, that was pretty cool. That was very James Bond.
But I mean, I think-
they created Indiana Jones to be like a James Bond, and in the third one, it's like a 100% James Bond movie. They even have Sean Connery in the role. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Sure.
they're screaming it at that point.
But still, though, I mean, I think if he's going to marry anybody, he has to be somebody that's tough, and that will.
That was very
Stand up to him.
Indiana Jones to me to settle down, but I guess he's older.
Well, I
and
mean,
it's all that stuff. But
I don't
it's
know.
still a little weird to me.
I think they earned it over the course of the movie,
Yeah,
being on the adventure together and all
even
that.
Shia LaBeouf, I didn't think was that bad. I think it was annoying that they were kind of in the mid 2000s trying to force him to be a star, but I thought he was fine as Mutt Williams.
I thought he was good in Fury. I just watched
I
Fury.
liked
I was just about to mention that.
yeah.
Shia LaBeouf was amazing in Fury.
I need
Yeah.
to see that. I wanted to see.
I was blown away. And what's the director's name? David Ayers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's also directing Suicide Squad.
I was just about to say he's doing the. Yeah.
After seeing Fury, I'm even now more excited for Suicide Squad. Dude,
I'm not on board with Jared Leto, man.
well,
I think that's the
okay.
least of that movie's
Yeah,
problems.
I know.
Well, okay.
In fact,
I think
that's probably the best
everyone's
thing it has
kind of
going for it.
about Jared Leto, but I don't
Everyone
want
was
to judge
very
anything until
about Heath Ledger. Too.
Take turns, boys. Take turns.
yeah.
I'm just saying, if you think about the pre-release Dark Knight buzz, obviously once people saw the trailers, they went nuts.
Right.
But Heath Ledger, this is how to lose a guy in 10 days. Or not, is that what the movie he was in? He was some chicks movie.
I mean, Heath Ledger was in a bunch of movies that were just the complete opposite of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you actually typecast Heath Ledger, Dark Knight Rises wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
Or Dark
Yeah.
Knight. Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
yeah.
Part.
Jared
So-
Leto's awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
Academy
he's
Award
good.
winner.
I mean,
I'm willing to see what. Let me put it this way. I'm more interested in Suicide Squad than I was the Sinister Six movie before
easily.
the Marvel announcement.
Even Harley
Now-
Quinn, she's awesome.
Yeah, I mean
what's
Margot
her name?
Robbie.
Yeah.
she's perfect.
Yeah.
She is perfect.
But I mean, it just sounds like I don't think that I'm not on board completely with the way DC is doing it, but I think they've got their act together better than Sony did.
Sure.
Of course, now that the Marvel is back in the
much.
Yeah, I
mix
was gonna say.
with that, and now Drew Goddard doing the Marvel Spider-Man
What's it
movie.
called? The Spectacular Spider-Man, I think, is the official title.
Have they announced that? I didn't
Or
catch
that was
if
the
it was.
leak, or that was the
Okay.
rumor, because they want to differentiate it from regular
Yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah.
and Amazing. So
Well, I mean, I'm glad Spider-Man's out of Sony's hands because Sony has a bad knack with Spider-Man.
the
Both
Amazing
times,
Spider-Man,
both,
awful,
both.
god awful.
The first one was good.
I
like
thought they
that.
were both. It wasn't until I saw the second one, because the first one I could see it going both ways. I could see it being the sequel could have been the best parts of the first one, and it would have redeemed the first one.
Right.
But the second one was so bad, I think it literally made the
Yeah, the
first
second one was
worse.
awful, and then the first Tobey Maguire film I thought was really good.
Oh, that's solid.
And
That's
then-
arguably the best comic book movie other than the Avengers.
Well, 2 was better.
Excuse me.
It was groundbreaking. That was the movie
Well,
that created the craze.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Not even the
Yeah,
first X-Men.
but-
X-Men was okay, but
Yeah,
Are you trying to tell me that Spider-Man is better than Dark Knight?
they're very different. They're hard to compare.
I think he's saying at the time
Oh.
it was more.
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
more
the one that
groundbreaking.
broke the dam,
well,
basically.
absolutely. Okay, I
can
stand
respect that.
tremendously
Yeah.
corrected.
Yeah, no. As like a movie, The Dark Knight is like easily the best.
Boom.
But
Of course, yeah,
it's not my
is comparing apples to
favorite.
oranges.
It's not like, but I see its credit in it. Like, I don't know.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
One of my favorite movies.
All right. Well, our off-topic segment ended up actually being on topic for today's show. So
look at
that's
that.
something. But first, it's time for us to take a nice stroll down memory
Trying to
lane.
make me cry? Like, what is this?
The
Now it's like Uncle
trees are
Cracker.
alive.
It's like, what's that Uncle Cracker song? He had like one single.
Follow me.
Yeah, follow
everything
me.
is alright.
Yeah.
This reminds me of.
Yeah. I'm ashamed that I was able to
Yeah.
to bring it up from memory. Very ashamed. Sorry.
Funny.
All right, headed down memory card lane, high-speed nostalgia trip down memory card lane, where there is no posted speed limit.
I can't drive 55 on the memory card lane.
For those that don't remember, because it's been like 2 months since we've done this, the idea is we've got a book, 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Die, that we'll flip through at random, find some random title, and then just start talking about it.
Oh, this will be good.
So let's see what we got for today.
Sorry.
Nintendogs?
Oh, did anyone actually play that?
I have never played
I
that.
did, actually.
All right. I
Do we-
played actually the first when the eShop came out on the 3DS. It
Yeah.
was a couple months after the 3DS was out. They finally came out with the eShop, which is funny if you think about it. That they launched without an internet store.
Not, well, funny, perhaps. Unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I remember was on there was a Nintendogs demo, and you get to play it in 3D, and they look like they're like jumping through your screen, and they're like licking you. It's kind of cute.
I played the original one back on DS, which was fun for a little while, but I can only do those, play everyday games for so often.
Sure.
Whether it be something like this or Animal Crossing or Tomodachi
Yeah.
Life, or I can only do that for so long before I just feel the need to move on to something else. That's why I like games that have a campaign. There's a story, there's a set duration of time, and then you move on to something else.
Right.
Because
And
I
you can
can't
put it
just
down for a while and come back to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even something like an MMO, I kind of feel like I need to take a break every once in a while.
Sure.
I can't just sit and play straight through.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it was fun. It was cute. It was one of those, reach out and get more audience.
It did give us Street Pass.
Yeah.
That was where they came up with that idea.
Yeah.
You're walking with your Nintendog, and don't they like switch or communicate or something? Like a dog park, like a virtual dog park. I don't know.
think so. I never did I never did any functionality like that with it.
Yeah, that was one of the things again, and it also gave us probably the best Smash assist item.
I was about to say
when they start jumping on the screen.
that's
the
my
funny
only
thing.
experience with Nintendogs is Smash Brothers.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious. I mean, you can't even be mad if you get killed by the Nintendo.
You're adorable.
Like, it's
Get
too
out of my
adorable.
way.
Get out of my... I can't say.
But that's the thing. You're right about like any of those simulation kind of games where they don't have a story, but you play them like every day. Like Animal Crossing always seems to hook me, but they have the potential to, like you said, like you play it for like a day, and like I have no reason to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is petting the same puppy belly. Like I don't know. Like I don't even know what those games
the
are.
Same fake puppy belly.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically it. Is you're playing for it, you're cleaning it, you're taking it for a walk several times a day. You can take it to the park and throw a frisbee. But I mean, it was a lot of it was in some ways the first Nintendogs was kind of a showcase for the hardware.
Sure.
Because you're using
that's true.
You're using the microphone, you're using the stylus, all of the stuff that's new to the device. It was kind of a great way to show it off, and particularly to a casual audience,
Yeah.
like they were going for there.
Even on the 3DS, I mean, the 3D looked awesome. I only played the demo, but you could tell that was the reason they made that a 3DS game.
Yeah.
Was they get to show off this virtual little pet box, or I don't know how to describe it. When you look into the screen, it's like a little room. So, but it looks like an actual room in 3D. It looks cool.
Yeah.
But along with the microphone and the stylus and all those regular DS holdovers,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I think
Alrighty.
because the first one was like a mega success, like millions and millions of copies.
Yeah.
I think they were hoping for making the sequel a launch game. It would have taken off the same way, but I think they very much underestimated how interested people were in 3DS at the time.
Well, the first one was launched during the Blue Ocean Touch Generation era, where they were
Yeah.
trying to reach out and grab new people, and they were succeeding with things like Brain Age and Brain Training and, Picross?
Picross was one.
Yeah.
They even had a crossword game. Like
Yeah.
it was just like crossword puzzles.
Well, they had all sorts of casual-friendly titles back then that were all over the place, but...
Yeah.
Which had their audience. I mean, they hooked my mom that way.
Yeah.
So she had her
I
own
mean,
little
they're
3DS for
mega
a while.
popular.
DS for a while.
It's kind of weird that with the Wii U, their open stated goal was, we want hardcore gamers again. And then none of the hardcore gamers want that.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the hardcore gamers would be on board with Wii U if Wii U had the titles they wanted to play as options, which they just don't. And I think that goes back to Nintendo not cultivating their relationships with third parties enough.
It was just, that was such this should be its own episode, just like
Yeah.
the Wii U launch blunder. But like, why would you spend $60 on Mass Effect 3 when you can get it for $20 literally on every other console? And it doesn't, like, it's not like the gamepad was that good. Like, I don't think it was worth spending $40 more on.
Yeah.
No.
So it ended up being people like me that was the only way to play it.
Yeah,
And-
but if you look at the people that owned a Wii that are interested in something like Mass Effect that never got a 360 or PS3, like, at that point you shrunk down your audience to like 10 people.
Yeah.
They're like, I can finally play this. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then the third parties come back and say, well, nobody bought our month's outdated Mass Effect 3 port, and now we're not going to make any other games.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move
Moving
on.
right along.
Let's move on to our feature presentation for today. Talking video game movies.
Oh boy.
The idea today is we're going to go over, a lot of the different properties and just standalone movies that aren't necessarily based on a specific game, but are game-related nonetheless, and rate each movie with a thumbs up or thumbs down in the spirit of movie reviewers of old.
Yeah.
So
Rest
we
in peace, Roger Ebert.
Yeah. And
Oh.
Gene
And Gene
Siskel's
Siskel.
dead.
Yeah,
I
he
was about to say
died
they're
a
both
long
gone.
time ago, though.
Yeah. All right, so we want to start talking about The Wizard, which came out in 1989, which I think that was the first. I don't know for sure because I don't have it written down on my sheet here, but I think that was the first video game related movie,
Has to
probably.
be. Yeah.
Since that was one of the first ones to come out after that became a big thing. Once the NES launched in '85. Figure how long it takes to gear up for a movie afterwards, and this was the first one to come from Nintendo. But it's a touching story of a young autistic boy who loves video games, traveling cross country to go compete in a video game tournament in California. And I went back and watched this relatively recently. I actually got it on disc, and it's a really sweet movie. Back in looking at it with complete hindsight. Of course, back in the day, everybody kind of knew it was a commercial. It was all about the games they were showing off. But looking at it now, I don't feel quite the same way about it. It's not. I want to say it's not glaring because it kind of is. It's kind of in your face. Hey, they're playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's the dam level where they're swimming around trying to get the mines. But yeah,
I never saw The Wizard.
I didn't either.
Before
Really?
my time.
Oh,
I
the
have
Power
seen
Glove?
the scenes with the Super Mario Bros. 3 and the Power Glove, but
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
That
say
was-
the Power Glove is like the only thing I can think of when I think of that movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a big part of it?
Yeah. It was huge back in the day because it wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
Either one of them.
Oh, so it was like the only way to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you see the Power Glove, and you see Lucas, there's this kid that has all, I want to say it was 94, 97 games that were out at the time on NES. And he's got this, you get the impression from watching it that he can play any of them with his Power Glove, which was not the case. Because the
think
Power
that's how
Glove
the Power
worked with
Glove
like
works.
3 of them.
Yeah.
And he's playing Rad Racer with the Power Glove, like he's actually controlling the steering wheel and all that. And of course it's working flawlessly.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
And I don't think you can even see the big nasty sensor bar you had to have on your TV at the time to make it work either. But it's like it's like a TV commercial logic.
yeah.
Where like they sprayed the hamburger bun with
Except in the entire movie.
yeah. But I mean, they had to take some shortcuts to get through that too, because they're traveling across country and they're playing all these games which they have to find in like arcades or something like that. So you see, like the console version of Double Dragon, which wasn't like that in arcades, but they kind of worked their way through it because they had these Play Choice 10 cabinets where you put in your money and you choose what game you want to play. And those are actually around for a while afterwards. I kind of remember those being. Philips, I think, had one back in the day because they used to play Samurai Showdown on one of those.
Nice.
Or something like that. And then, of course, there was also the first appearance of Super Mario Bros. 3, which was the big reveal at the end of the video game tournament. At the end of the game is that it's like, here's this game you've never played, and of course, we've practiced all these other ones so we could dominate in the tournament. And it was like, oh, this one's new. And of course, they're like stumbling across things that there's no way you could stumble across in like a 5-minute timed match, like warp whistles and things like that.
Nice.
And I think they do the ducking on the white block thing where you fall behind. And all that. It's like,
that was like seriously, not to shift the subject. That was probably the first like big video game secret I found as a kid was when I did that white block thing out. It blew my mind.
Did you find it on your own?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did, and I think I don't even know what I was doing. I think it was completely by accident. I was just like fiddling around with the controller, and I was like, "Whoa! I shrunk into the block. Oh, I'm in the bushes. Oh, I'm walking behind the sets."
Yeah, I remember that now.
It was so cool.
My first one was in the first Super Mario Brothers when you walk on top of the level.
See,
that blew my mind. You're running next to the score and stuff.
I didn't play Mario Brothers 1 until I was much older. Probably, I got Mario Brothers 3 when I was probably 4 or 5. I got the regular Super Mario Brothers actually for when it was released on the Game Boy Color.
Nice.
The deluxe version. That was the first time I played Super Mario Brothers 1.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah. I have no vote on The Wizard, though.
Okay, that's fine. I'm guessing you don't either, Kyle.
I know, but I'll give it a thumbs up because video games, yeah.
I'm going to thumbs up because it's kind of weird. Like I said, back in the day, it was all about, seeing all the cool games they're playing and seeing the Power Glove for the first time, Mario 3 for the first time. It was all about the commercial aspects of it. Mm-hmm. Going back and watching it much older, it's really a pretty touching story. I mean, I can't imagine. I'd mentioned this to Nick since he's kind of in that boat already. But I'm like, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a parent and there's something going wrong with your kid and you have no idea what it is. Because the parents have an autistic kid and they can't figure out what's going on with him, why he wants to go to California, which he's not even going to California. Spoilers. It was a completely different perspective looking back at it now, and you kind of just attaching to the story instead of just the commercial aspects of it. So it's a definite thumbs up for me.
Sure.
Nice.
All right, next up, talking Super Mario Bros.
Oh my God!
Came out in 1993. Did you guys see it?
I've only seen part of it.
Part of it?
Dear
No,
God.
I've seen it many times.
Dear God, it is literally the worst movie I've ever seen.
So
I'm not
bad.
exaggerating.
It is hilarious.
It might actually be like the worst. Like, obviously, there's stuff like Troll 2 that's like famously bad, and it's like almost a joke. And
Starship
it's funny
Troopers.
But Starship Troopers has redeeming qualities.
It does have many redeeming qualities.
I can think of
Super
two.
Mario Brothers. Just dear God, it is so bad. Like
my God.
like you literally wonder how it got made. Like it's like nobody said no from start to finish. Like, let's come up with the worst ideas and just no one stops it. It's just, that's like what an unfiltered piece of crap looks like when you get it from bad idea to screen. Like, normally you feel like you'd have all these people, like,
I wouldn't do that if I was you. Well, they did it.
Yeah.
It's not even so bad it's good, like, in my opinion. It's so bad it's just, like, unwatchable.
Disagree.
I hate it.
See, I'm on the it's so bad it's good because I think it's hilarious. The Goombas are like giant freaking man beast people with just tiny heads, and like King Koopa is this like businessman. Like
oh God,
it's so hilarious. It's so hilarious.
Bad.
And like, I don't even know who was Luigi. Was Luigi
John Leguizamo?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I knew I recognized him.
Why? Why?
Yeah. There are a lot of good articles out there on the internet. If you do just a quick Google search about the behind the scenes of making the movie, basically why everything went wrong. It's really interesting. Mm-hmm. But basically, it comes down to being a tug of war between not really Nintendo because they weren't really pulling that hard. But it went through a big chain of directors, and each one of them had their own vision for it and their own script, and things roll over from one to the next that don't really fit anymore. And they go through different lead actors because they wanted to do this one. They wanted to do this movie with that last director, but now it's not. So you end up in so many different places by the time you actually get to filming. But they had this idea to do a dystopian version of it, which didn't really fit with any of the source material.
No.
Nintendo didn't realize at the time how protective they needed to be with their property.
Right.
So, I mean, it just ended up being a mess.
And since then, I mean, let me just make sure this list here. Oh, look at that. No Nintendo movies.
Yeah.
Since.
For good
no
reason.
straight Nintendo movies.
Well, like we said last week when we were talking about the Zelda TV show, I mean, that's why it's kind of such a big deal, because it's the first time that Nintendo's done anything live action since Super Mario
even
Bros.
then, it's still in rumor world. It's not official.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It
But
might absolutely possible that they just pull out and say no, and it doesn't happen.
Right.
I hope they do if it's not going to shape up the way they want it to.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think they should do it at all.
I don't think they should do it at all. But
And I'll get to that kind of later as we get through this discussion about just as we start to wrap up. I'll get to the reason why.
Okay.
But
Super Mario Bros. Bob Hoskins famously said it was the worst film he ever worked on. He and John Leguizamo drank heavily throughout.
hey, a paycheck's a paycheck. I mean, I would have been a part of it if I had been millions of dollars. Like,
let's forget we made this movie. Oh my god!
But it kind of exists in this weird space, and I think this is why it gets a lot of flack, because it's always a question of how, with any of these movies, it's a question of how true it is to the original property.
Sure.
The Wizard's in its own little world because it's a real world movie with video games in it, whereas everything else here on our list that we're going to talk about today is an actual adaptation of a video game property. And so it's always a question of how true they are to the original game, and what people are expecting when they go to see it. And Super Mario Brothers kind of did a weird way with that. They had Goombas. They just weren't anything like what you had in the game. They had Koopa, Bowser, which was nothing like. They had the bombs, which were somewhat close to what they were expected to be.
The way it was shot, too, everything's so dark and dingy.
Well,
Yeah.
It looks like a Nine Inch Nails video.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's so weird.
I think that all goes with the dystopian kind of thing. It was like King Koopa, Bowser, whatever, was supposed to be like this like headshot kind of dude ruining a town, right? And
It was kind of the kind of. Do you guys remember Max Headroom? Or are you guys both too young for that?
no.
idea.
Yeah, that was the. I want to say it's the original project that the directors were working on that kind of got them into this, and that's kind of where they were going with that. And I think King Koopa was kind of in that vein too of like Max Headroom himself, just kind of slick and dystopian and kind of out there.
And then there were the jetpack boots. Which made no sense.
The Swamp Stompers, which I mean,
Swamp Stompers.
they were trying to get the jumping aspect of it in
and
there,
make it realistic.
Okay, but it's just the way they chose to do it.
Right.
You know, they had bullet bills in it, which were the gas canisters that went into the boots. But of course, they're nothing like what bullet bills are in the games. There was Big Bertha, which is nothing like she was in Mario 3. She's just this chubby chick, nightclub owner. I don't even know if she was a nightclub owner. Anyway, they had de-evolution guns in the game, which were repainted super scopes.
That's cool.
Which, I mean, it's there, you see it, but it's not,
Right.
Yeah.
It's
So
bad.
It is. It's really
so
bad. But I mean, obviously, I give it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Oh, clear.
But
Thumbs down for me.
I think it has that kind of room quality to it. The room.
Yeah.
Where it's so bad.
You're tearing me
It's
apart,
kind
Peach.
of it's kind of hilarious. Like just every time I see, like I said, every time I see those little Goombas with their big suits and their.
And that, like, they had that whole extended scene of them in the elevator where they're tricking the Goombas into dancing to the elevator music so they can sneak past them.
Right.
Just like, what are you doing?
Oh, it's pretty bad.
I want to puke. I literally made it makes me sick that like it exists. I hate it.
What are you
So
gonna do?
3 thumb down.
Thumb down for sure.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, the next year, Street Fighter came out in 1994.
All right, this movie's a masterpiece.
Really?
No, but this one's actually like so bad it's funny. Like this one's enjoyable to watch. Super Mario Brothers to me is not enjoyable.
See,
but like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like, oh, dude, it's over.
Is that the guy who did M. Bison?
No, he was. Oh, not Guile.
He was Guile. He was Guile.
Or he was Guile. Yeah.
Okay.
Those kicks, man.
Who was the guy who did M. Bison?
That was Raul Julia.
Oh my God!
It was his final film. Actually, he died after.
Now I feel bad making fun of him.
Yeah, well,
but still.
But I mean, he was like going full bore though. I mean, he was in it to win it on that role.
Right.
That's what you need in a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
You need, if you're gonna go in, you gotta go all in.
It's just so. I mean, like M. Bison is just like this huge, intimidating, like emperor-looking guy, and this small, scrawny guy.
Well, it's because he was dying, for God's sake.
I know, but
I mean, he was wasting away during filming.
I know. So why did you cast a wasting away old man to play M. Bison, this maniacal, evil dictator?
Fun fact: this is, I think, fairly well known, but M. Bison and Barlog, the characters in the Japanese version, were actually switched. M. Bison was Barlog's character, who's like this black boxer, and Barlog was the Bison character that we know, like this dictator-looking hat outfit. They switched, and M. Bison is a play on Mike Tyson, Mike Bison, M. Bison. But they switched the names around, like in translation, for whatever reason. So that's why those two are opposite. Or not opposite, but that's why they each have that name.
Huh.
It's kind of like Monkey Kong and Donkey Kong. Think about it.
All right.
That always, every time I see Barlog's character, I think of Mike Tyson. I think of M. Bison, I should say.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
But that's another interesting movie where they kind of all the characters are there. Some of them are kind of close to how they are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the weird ones like Blanca, which was just, you know, he was some random soldier named Charlie that got experimented on, and then they turned him green in the movie, but he wasn't all hulked up big like you were saying with you know, they didn't get the image of M. Bison right.
Right.
They didn't get it right with Blanca either because he was supposed to be kind of larger than life. You know, Dalsum never had the stretchy powers. He was just some doctor.
Yeah.
Chun-Li was a reporter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A young Ming-Na.
Yeah.
Far before her Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. days.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So thumbs up, thumbs down.
I give it a thumbs up.
Let's do the rest of the trivia first. Sorry. Just to throw some interesting things out there. The controls on Bison's flying desk are the same as the Street Fighter console. They just basically put a big console up there, and that's how he controls this thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then the final shot of the movie, which is a real-life recreation of the characters' win poses. It's kind of like a big group picture thing where everybody does the jumping in air and thing and all that stuff.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So, thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up. I think it's funny.
Thumbs down.
I think it's funny. I mean, it's not a good movie, but at least this one's fun to watch. If only for Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm a Van Damme fanboy, basically. That's what I'm trying to say here.
You a fanboy about things?
Never.
I honestly don't know which way to go on this one. I think tentative thumbs up, I think.
Tentative.
Yeah.
Subject to change.
Because I don't want to be so wishy-washy as to do like the halfway thing. Like,
you gotta
do that. You gotta go one or the other.
The only way you're not allowed to vote is if you haven't seen it.
Right.
Like that thing you can see.
Of course.
Fair. But I mean, I think thumbs up because they tried to stay relatively consistent.
That's the thing. It's not as bad of an adaptation as Mario Brothers. Like, there's a world fighting tournament, and like, it makes sense. Even though it's a fighting game, like the story is far from the most important part of it.
But doesn't make it a good movie.
No, I know. At least it makes more sense than like Koopa.
But I mean, I think that's a fair distinction, though, is that some of these are going to be good movies, some of these are going to be good adaptations, some of them might be both.
Yeah.
Although that's kind of a tall order.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so following up to that, Mortal Kombat came out in 1995.
The same movie. I don't know. I almost can't separate them mentally. Like, I think of the scenes in both. I know I've seen both, but
I look at it this way: Street Fighter took itself a lot less seriously.
Yeah,
that's very true. Okay.
And
you don't have it on here, but Mortal Kombat also has like the worst sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That movie's like god awful.
Well, see, and
like,
that's
Mario Brothers level bad. Like, it's so bad.
Well, the problem with that one, I think, was that at that point they cared more about adapting the games than they did actually making a decent movie.
Yeah.
Because at that point, they were just trying to cram in as many characters as they could.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cyrax and Jax was back, and Nightwolf was in there, I think, like for like a minute.
Huh.
I mean, they're just everybody they could cram in from Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. They pretty much stuffed into that movie, and then at that point you run out of motivation for the story from going from one place to another. It's just they walk someplace else, they have another fight, 1-on-1.
Yeah, literally.
And then they go, yeah. So it's all about setting up the fights rather than actually having a narrative to the film.
Yeah.
But the first one I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job. I mean, it took itself seriously, like I said, but I mean, they did a pretty good job of adapting what was actually there in the original source material, and they did a pretty good job with it, I think.
They tried.
Did Mortal Kombat the album come out with the game or the movie?
The movie.
The movie?
Yeah, absolutely movie.
Because I love that soundtrack.
The
I do
soundtrack
too.
is
It's
dope.
awesome.
Yep.
Who does it? Isn't it like it's like Lords of Acid or something like that?
I don't remember, but
it's like 90s.
it's awesome.
Like not industrial, but like almost like the Prodigy style stuff.
Yeah,
I
it was a
forget who
lot
did
like
it.
that.
In fact, it might have been. Oh my god!
Like the back
this is gonna
half of the
kill me.
album was. The first half is all techno,
Well, that's
and then the back half you start getting some kind of heavy rock and industrial.
Sure.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Really good.
Mortal Kombat.
Somebody had to.
Somebody had to.
Okay, I had to do it.
But dude, who else would it be? Of course it's gonna be you.
I had to. I get that stuck in my head like all the time.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Will just like pop into my head, and I have to go to YouTube
Absolutely,
and listen to the whole.
it's iconic.
album. Yeah,
It's iconic. Like it's probably actually more iconic than the movie.
I was just about to say, I think more people know that techno song than they know like the actual Mortal Kombat movie.
I think it was also on DDR.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
It was on. I'm pretty sure it was on DDR.
I'm actually real excited about the new Mortal Kombat. It comes out in April. I might not buy it right away.
Oh, the game,
the game, the actual game.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
60 frames, silky smooth.
I was
Yeah.
Man.
I was thinking about it, and then I played Injustice.
Oh yeah, the
made by
free one.
NetherRealms.
Yeah.
When it was free, yeah. Which, of course, being made by the same people, controls exactly the same way, and I just realized then that I'm kind of past that particular gameplay style, so
Yeah.
I don't think I can go
I love
back.
fighting games.
As much as I appreciate... see, I loved them in the arcades, but I never got used to making the switch over to controller and playing on a home
That's true.
console.
It doesn't work.
Even
But
with
the
the
D-pad
joystick.
on the PS4 is really good. I like it. It's better than the Xbox 360. I had Street Fighter 4 on Xbox 360, and I had to use the analog stick as bad as it was. Like I couldn't use that D-pad at all.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I still love fighting games.
I think I've been spoiled by Smash Bros.
Smash Bros.
Yeah.
is like its own subgenre.
I know,
It doesn't
but I
count
mean-
as like a fighting game in my mind.
I know,
Like
but
when people talk about it as a fighting game, it almost like I have to do a double take. Like, oh yeah, I guess it kind of is.
But I think that's why, just the simplified control scheme of not having to remember all the different moves and all
Sure.
that. And
The Street Fighter 2, like that's probably one of the better 16-bit games, like in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like, that's a masterpiece.
It's up there. It's. I would
That's
say
like
it's
endlessly
icon level.
replayable. That's a game that not many Super Nintendo games like still hold up. But like Street Fighter 2, not many. But
I'd say most Super Nintendo games hold up.
no, but like obviously the classic ones. But like
That's also a
one-
classic.
Like I don't know, there's not a lot of games that could still be played like competitively, or like I don't know, like Super Mario Kart doesn't hold up, in my opinion. I think that
No,
game
it
sucks.
doesn't.
But like
Especially
Street Fighter 2, you could still play for like hours with like the right people.
Well, if
or
you take
whatever.
the transition from Mario Kart Super Nintendo to Mario 64, there's no competition. I mean,
yeah.
the change was just so vastly superior. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'd say there's probably at least 50 Super Nintendo games that are all like considered great or classic that hold up today.
That's true. I mean,
Like, it was one. It is, in my opinion, the greatest system ever made.
yeah, I'd be tough to argue with that. But yeah.
Yeah. So, not few Super Nintendo games
I've
hold
just
up, Brad.
not hold up. I should say like competitively or like.
I mean, yeah, if you put it that way, but there weren't a lot of competitive games for
Right.
the Super Nintendo. I don't feel.
Yeah,
like.
it was literally like the fighting games. It was like
It was
Street
literally
Fighter
the fighting games,
and
you're right.
Mortal Kombat, and even Mortal Kombat isn't a very technical fighting game. It never was. It was all about flashy graphics, and they had these semi-photorealistic people figures.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
Street Fighter pixel art, like silky smooth. Like everything worked in that game perfectly. Mortal Kombat's very loose. Like even the fatalities, you kind of just get lucky. Like you never feel like you're totally powerful. It's more like, oh, I'm watching a cool movie now. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
so Mortal Kombat the movie, Shao Kahn voiced by Frank Welker, who also did Dr. Claw from
which is
Inspector Gadget.
awesome.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That is awesome.
The phrase flawless victory is used 4 times. It's only warranted twice. Because only twice were there like no hits.
Nice.
Right.
The final shot of the movie. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. The film soundtrack went platinum in less than 2 weeks, as we talked about already.
I believe
this
that
before making my comment because that
That's
album
fine.
is classic.
I could have omitted the comment because we already talked about it.
Meh.
Well, whatever.
Now that we know how well it sold, that actually is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Platinum.
So how do we feel about this one?
Records. Oh, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Absolutely.
On the first one, definitely.
Yeah. Annihilation.
First,
story.
like across the board, thumbs up.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so.
There's an argument for it to being like the best video game movie, which is like being the skinniest kid at that camp. But
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. There's not that many great.
I think we got some of the better ones coming up.
Yeah, once you hit the 2000s, which we're about to
Yeah.
next movie.
So coming up next, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, which came out in
2001.
2001? Was it 2001?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I omitted that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, basically, it's your basic Indiana Jones turned into Tomb Raider, turned back into a movie, all over again.
Which is weird. In this movie, she like fights robots and stuff. Like,
Well, she uses the robots for training.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, it feels more like a Tomb Raider
Yeah.
movie. But I remember thinking at the beginning, I was like,
I mean, by the
what
time
is
she's in the Arctic in like a tank top and
this?
Yeah.
like tiny.
I mean,
Because Angelina Jolie
this
lied.
movie came out
Well,
during my formative
why not?
years.
Why not?
As a young man.
Yes.
And this movie was one of my favorites.
I
Just
mean,
kidding.
it's okay.
No, but I had I was very attracted to Angelina Jolie. That was her breakout role.
Yeah.
I
Made her
don't think that's
super-
an unpopular
I
opinion.
don't think it's
I
enough.
don't think so either.
You think Angelina Jolie's hot?
Yeah,
I don't think we need to linger on that.
No,
we do.
don't.
We do. Let's let it simmer.
Let's not.
She's very.
Let's
attractive.
go. Let's
That's what
go.
I'm trying to say.
But yeah, I think this one benefited a lot from having a game that actually translates pretty well into like an action movie.
Yeah.
Because you've actually got a MacGuffin that you're going after and villains and all that. It actually works relatively well as an actual narrative for a film.
And the casting is like dead on. She looks like what you think.
Her absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's one of the. It's like up there with Wolverine and Hugh Jackman as like character like that looks exactly the way you'd think that character would look in real life.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
For sure.
I will say the casting for I don't remember his character's name. Alex, I think it was, but
The dweeby guy.
yeah, no, the pseudo love interest antagonist, Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Before anybody
Daniel Craig was in this.
before anybody knew who Daniel Craig
Yeah.
was. That's the thing, and that's why I was so against him when he got cast as Bond, because I'm like, oh, the whiny guy from Tomb Raider. No thanks.
I was so
But then
for
he
him
nailed it.
when I saw the movie Layer Cake. It's a great movie. It's like a Guy Ritchie wannabe movie. But that was like, it was like his Bond audition tape. Like you watch that movie and you're like, oh, totally, this guy's James Bond.
Yeah.
And the Casino Royale is awesome.
Casino Royale is
Yes, it is.
Very awesome. Can't wait for
as a veteran Bond fan.
that's probably
2 thumbs up.
like one of the literally like top 5 James Bond movies.
No, I agree.
Not to make everything a list
you don't have to be all quiet and
It's
tiptoeing
easily the
on
best
that one.
since Sean Connery. I mean,
Oh,
there's no
absolutely.
question. As awesome of a Bond as Pierce Brosnan was, his movie's not that great. He was
Yeah.
a great Bond stuck in crappy movies.
Yes.
But the Daniel Craig movies, he's awesome as Bond, and they're awesome movies. Well, except for Quantum of Solace.
Solace.
Kind of,
But
but yeah.
yeah,
I cannot
I've
wait
actually
for the
not
new one.
seen Skyfall.
I know
yet.
we talked about this like a year ago, and we were going to watch it, and it never happened. We'll
right.
watch it before the new one, though.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
I've heard great things.
Oh, it's awesome. It might be better than Casino Royale. It's as good at least, if
Right.
not better.
Well, still.
I'd
It's
offer-
like a Christopher Nolan made a Bond movie. If you like Dark Knight, you would love Skyfall.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd offer to loan it, but then I have a policy of
You'd
not
probably
loaning
never
things
get it again.
anymore.
No, I'm not Nick. You'd get it back.
Kyle is good, though. I lent him my 3DS when Kingdom Hearts came out. and he gave it back to me.
I promised
week
him.
later.
I promised him a week. I beat in a week. I gave it right back.
Yeah. Kyle's trustworthy.
Haven't you guys made the swap yet?
We have
Not
not. I don't think we're doing it. It just wouldn't be financially.
Is Brad backing out on you here?
No, I am backing out on Brad. Actually.
Oh, okay.
It's not financially in the cards for
I might
me
be getting
now.
it to my brother. Anyways, he might be buying it.
Well, this is going to shoot the show here in the foot a little
We'll
bit later
talk about
on.
it.
No problems. Wait, what do you
We'll
mean?
still talk about it.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. The last question written.
Okay, so Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Oh.
It's supposed to be recommendations for Kyle.
The biggest grossing action film with a female lead.
See, that's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Aliens. Aliens is second. But I
Makes
mean, like,
sense. It was huge.
yeah, I mean, it was back in the time. Laura never wears her traditional outfit from the games. A lot of variations, though. Lord Croft is played by Angelina Jolie's
I
real
thought that
life
was funny,
father,
yeah.
John Voight.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Definitely.
And it gave us the short-lived Paramount Kings Island attraction.
That was
Tomb
really
Raider.
cool.
It was the first theme park attraction based on a video game.
Oh,
Right
nice.
here in Cincinnati, where this may or may not be recorded for all you listeners out there.
They know. They know things.
But
All right.
yeah.
Thumbs up
It's
for me,
now
too.
closed.
Yep.
Another unanimous.
All right.
All
This one
right.
actually might be the best video game movie.
In your
this
opinion?
might be my
Okay.
favorite.
Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
I would say
fair.
so.
Which once
That's
again,
fair.
it's not a.
It's definitely the one that was given the proper treatment.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
like they
like
actually
actual budget, actual
budget.
script,
Like this was a setup to be a blockbuster film, and it totally was.
The sequel
Yeah.
was kind of a dud.
Oh, yeah.
Cradle of Life.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Well, Paramount, because like you said, this movie is a huge box office success. Like I think they were banking on this being like an Indiana Jones level like franchise,
Right.
and then they just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like literally, and I
Tends to
think
happen.
now there's rumors of a Tomb Raider reboot movie.
I think I have heard that.
I think it's in the works.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those production
Yeah,
hell
but-
things.
video game movies. There's like thousands of rumors out there. It's
That's-
just
Oh,
it's
every single
ridiculous.
game
Every
has
single day, there's a new rumor
Yep.
about
Which we
video
could talk
games
about
being
later.
made in movies. Oh, we are going to talk about it later.
Yeah.
BioShock and Last of Us now. And, I'm being hit.
Come on, let's move on.
Violence. Next up, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within
Ooh.
came out in 2001.
The dud to end all duds.
The movie that sank Square Animation,
Yeah, literally.
Square Motion Pictures, Square
Made
Pictures.
and broke Square Pictures.
Yeah, it was the first CG animated film with photorealistic characters, and as we were talking before the podcast, they still hold up today.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
You can tell. I mean, it's not money well spent in that it was a good investment.
Right,
But
yeah.
but
as far
it
as how
works.
it looks, like
It looks
that's some of the
phenomenal.
best
Absolutely.
computer-generated imagery ever.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little trippy. Again, we talk about
super trippy.
being a good transferring the intellectual property over to the different medium, like doing justice to the original games. It's kind of hard to pin down Final Fantasy because they do something different each time.
Yeah, every time it's a new story. I mean, like, yeah, you could say Final Fantasy is all about like medieval. It's like no,
No, absolutely not.
there's 7 and 8 or
Sci-fi.
take place in very sci-fi type things. This is a very sci-fi movie.
This one is more sci-fi, I think, than any other Final
absolutely,
Fantasy.
by far.
It's also set on Earth. It's
Yeah.
future Earth rather than, which I think, with the exception of Final Fantasy 15, if I'm remembering correctly, that is set on Earth in the future.
I think it is.
is 15 set on Earth.
I think so.
Ooh,
I think it
I
takes
might be
place,
making
like
that up.
Paris, like an actual city. I might have made that up. I'm pretty sure they said like one of the cities is like literally like New Paris or some crap.
See, I kind of get confused on some of that because I'm
we
watching.
are obviously credible sources here.
Well,
guys,
yeah,
on
it's
radio.
totally true.
we
I
never
just made it
claimed
up.
to be, so
This is
it's
true.
all
We,
good.
we are not
It's half
journalists.
the appeal.
So, but I mean, I get confused though because I'm keeping track on Final Fantasy 15 and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I know that one. The storyline for Chronicles X is that humanity left Earth in spaceships. They crashed on a new one, and they're exploring this new planet for the first time. So, like,
It's also
they're
the plot of Pikmin.
oh, that's fair.
Captain Olimar.
That is fair.
That is fair.
So they're based around like the basically Starship LA.
Sure.
On this new planet,
Huh.
but I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 15 is set on future Earth.
I think I back that up. Non-source.
I mean, whatever.
I'm pretty sure I've
I'm
heard
still
that.
excited.
Yeah. So yeah, the Spirits Within. The characters are looking for various spirits contained
Crystals,
in.
right?
No, it's actual like life forces of different things. So sometimes
More
it's a
Final
bird.
Fantasy 7 type live stream kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
very much. Kind of one. There are 7 of them. One's in a bird. One's in like a basically a battery that uses like kind of bioengineered
Whatever.
gel. Is technical stuff.
Yeah.
But they're going around trying to collect these because once they get like the all of them together form this waveform that they can commune with the planet or something like that. Like I said, it's a little bit hard to take in the first time, which I think is why it didn't do too well in theaters.
It was, oh my god,
definitely high concept.
Yeah, I mean, not that that's a first for Final Fantasy, but like, I don't know. You have an entire game to figure out the complexities of a Final Fantasy game, not 2 hours like in a movie. It's just...
This is one I saw on the Sci-Fi Channel as well. And I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so like it's not like... And it's not based on
Have
a
you?
game. I've played the third one on DS, Final Fantasy 3. Came out on Nintendo DS.
You are
missing
missing so much.
I've never played a Final Fantasy. I picked it up and I was like,
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was just... It's kind of hard to get into like a big, meaty, turn-based RPG.
That's fair.
Sometimes.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's not based on a game, but still, like I wasn't. Don't they like summon something at some point?
They do.
There's like a big fire monster.
I think they do
like
summon Bahamut.
or Bahamut. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure there's a scene where they're on a train and I might have
something
made the train
happens.
Up, but
I
monster.
literally have not seen this since I saw it in theaters, which I believe you saw it in theaters, right?
Yeah. I saw it in theaters and I saw it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Also,
I have not seen it since. I will have to take a...
That was like the only scene I remember, which maybe it didn't even exist, was like they summoned a big fire monster.
I remember other stuff, but I mean...
Are you sure you're not thinking of maybe Advent Children?
I've never seen Advent Children.
No,
Okay.
I've seen Advent Children. I'm not thinking of that either.
Like I don't know. They summon something. There's like some kind of big moment. It's like a climactic moment.
Well, it's kind of the life force of the planet kind of, reaching out and killing all of the phantoms.
That might have been it.
The basic concept is a meteor strike hits the Earth that has all of the spirits from the planet that it broke off of.
Oh yeah,
and they're kind of invading, like they're leaving the meteor and invading Earth, which so they're trying to find the waveform they need to kind of drive them off. So they end up down at the crater at the end, and they
that's what it is. Yeah,
they basically end up communicating with the life force of the planet, and the life force kind of like lashes out and kills all the things.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay. That's probably it, yeah.
So
I'm not a summon like in a spell version or something.
Yeah,
there's some kind of big monster.
It's a shame that would have been a good connection to the games if they'd done something like that. But
I think there was... They did do the Battle Victory theme, though, once in the movie, didn't they?
no, not that I remember.
I think they did. It might have been at the end. Like not like the end, but it might have been like at the end of the credits or something.
Huh.
I think there was just one quick, just little that just popped up at the end of the movie. I think that thing, that thing. I do remember that because I think me and my friend were sitting in the theater, and like I think it was just at the very end where it was like brought to you by Square Pictures, Squaresoft.
Yeah,
and
and
like,
they that's cool.
I might be totally wrong, but I think I remember that.
Man, listening to that makes me want to play Final Fantasy XIV again. I need to go back.
I need to start.
Golden Saucer just came out. I need to check it out. So a lot of big names in this movie. Alec Baldwin is in it. Steve Buscemi, Donald Sutherland.
Like an A-list cast.
Whoa, that's kind of serious stuff.
Ed Wood, B-list.
Still,
yeah,
people, easily recognizable people if there ever were any.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's probably where we talked about how much money Square spent on this movie. That's probably where it went.
Yeah,
was in the voice talent. And they laid down
and the CG.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember this came out the same time as the Robin Williams movie AI, or not AI. God, what was it called? Bicentennial Man.
Yeah,
where he's like a robot and he lives in like it's all happy family movie.
Yeah,
but that was just a random tidbit. Just wanted to throw that out there. This movie mentally, like I link it Bicentennial Man with Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I don't know why.
I think
those two are like. I think AI was that year.
Yeah, I think
that movie was a dud.
Yeah,
a lot of sci-fi, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Aki Ross, the lead character of Final Fantasy Spirits Within, was named number 87 on Maxim's Hot 100 in 2001. It was featured on the cover of Maxim. That was kind of crazy at the time.
Yeah.
It was weird, but it's like, wow, the graphics are so
Can
real.
you imagine
It's
being
almost
one of the
like
13 girls that lost to the computer-generated character?
wow. Yeah.
That sucks.
That would be a kick to the ego. And as we mentioned, it also led to
Of course,
Square.
Sarah Sullivan's been featured on that list before, so who knows if the... Sorry, Sarah.
She was in the Steel Panther music video for Death to All But Metal.
Was she really?
As the hot principal that comes in their class. You know Steel Panther?
I know who Steel Panther is.
Just speaking of random access, Steel Panther, greatest band ever.
Not false.
Greatest band ever.
Not the greatest band
They have a
ever.
song called Death to All But Metal.
They also have a song called Community Property.
Yes, Community Property.
And we cannot... The lyrics of the song are not...
Yeah, you can't repeat them on a family show like this. Kids, don't look up Steel Panther. They have naughty lyrics.
I think I'm going to have to side with Kyle on this one.
What?
As far as the recommendation for Steel Panther goes.
Yeah. Do not recommend.
They're amazing. What?
No.
Community Property.
All right.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Spirits
girl.
Within. Thumb up, thumb down.
Thumbs down.
I don't know. Thumbs down, definitely.
Ultimately, I think I have to go down.
Yeah. It had its qualities.
It was a noble failure, though, I will say.
Yeah.
failure.
Oh, absolutely. It was super
Actually, a lot
ambitious,
of,
super...
stuff like Avatar that's like super CG heavy. Like a lot of those realistic looking CGI, like a lot of that comes from this.
Yeah.
And, like this was the first one to try
I mean,
that.
this movie looked incredible.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
They probably would have been better off, honestly, by having it be a live action movie.
Yeah.
I think it would have fared better financially for them.
Maybe, yeah.
They were trying to be too ambitious, and the script is too weird to attach to something like that.
Right.
Like, if you feel like if you're dumping that much movie in it and you want it to be a success, you just go with like a generic fantasy style, like will work.
I think that was a part of the big problem was just the localization of it. It didn't translate well to.
I don't think it did well in Japan though. Like, I don't think Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I don't know though. I don't know like the world box office.
I would imagine that if it had, that would have been made more part of the story instead of this drove Square Pictures under.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if they had
This
something
was
they could
definitely
hang
a
their hat
Hollywood
on.
movie. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a Japanese picture.
Yeah.
Like it was Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah.
All right, next up on the list, Resident Evil.
Ooh, this movie
First one
actually
came out in
pretty
2002,
Yeah.
with 4
Mila
sequels
Jovovich.
released. Another yet on the way. That'll be the final one in the series.
This thing has gone on forever.
Yeah, it has. But I mean, they found
Only 4?
there have been 5 released so far. The 6th one is still
I feel
coming.
like there's been 8.
I know.
I know.
It does seem
seems
like that.
It seems like every 2 years one comes out.
Right.
They always come out in September.
Well, I mean, that would make almost sense with the timeline, I guess. But I feel like there was a new one
few
coming
years.
out every year and a half and be like, oh, there's another Resident Evil movie.
yeah.
All right.
This
whatever.
was right in the same time frame as Tomb Raider and Spirits Within. This was like March 2002. Those came out like late 2001.
Yeah.
That was when like video games were probably at their peak.
Everyone was giving it
popularity.
a shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Much
this one was
like-
actually like decent. Like it wasn't good. It had some weird stuff like that. I remember there's like the little red girl. The queen,
Yeah,
Red
the
Queen.
AI for
That was
the
really dumb.
complex, the
With,
Umbrella
like,
Corporation
I have
complex.
a little British accent and I'm the little girl.
Yeah.
You can't get through here. I remember there's a scene where a guy gets cut by like a bunch of wires and it's
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, the laser grid.
yeah,
Mm,
that
yeah, the
wires,
security
lasers. Yeah.
security system. But I mean, they did a I felt they were relatively true to the source material here. Basically, you've got Mila Jovovich playing Alice, who is
Not in the games, but
not in the games. A new character made for the films wakes up confused in a mansion, which I kind of wish they'd spent more time there. They did a little bit.
Yeah.
They did a little bit more, kind of like
there's
the first
nothing.
game.
It just turns
but there's
into like
nothing.
a straight sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it just goes straight to not even closely adapting any of the movies or any of the games.
Not
really.
at all. Yeah.
No.
Just kind of doing its own thing, just kind of going down into the Umbrella Corporation complex, which has an entrance through the mansion where she meets up with the security team going down to lock things down because there was a bio breach, basically.
But there was still cool stuff like the zombie dogs were the movie.
Yes.
I think the lickers.
They even
were
did
movie.
the jumping through the window as an homage to the games.
Was Wesker in the first one, or is he only in the sequels?
I don't.
I think he might just be in the sequels, but Wesker was a character and Jill Valentine was introduced in the sequels.
Yeah, she came in the second one.
Chris Redfield was too, I think.
Yeah. So they've done a lot to bring all of the other protagonists in over the years, kind of as a a team of
including Nemesis as an antagonist.
Yes, in 2. I need to go back and watch the second one again.
I think the second one is a pretty good adaptation of the second and third games.
Yeah,
like they kind of mix them up.
Yeah,
but the first one is still a decent little movie.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's your basic,
inoffensive, really. Like it doesn't do anything horribly wrong.
Which one of these people, in addition to the heroine, is going to survive the movie? And you just wait for everybody else to get picked off, kind of your basic slasher flick kind of thing.
I remember there being cool scenes that reminded me of Aliens, actually, where they're like underwater, not underwater, but like they're in like some kind of sewer system where they're like being chased by stuff, and it's like all watery.
Yeah, it was full on zombies at that point.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. But it reminded me of the scene in Aliens where Newt is being chased by the alien queen, and there's that awesome shot of the alien like about to reach her. Oh, it's like one of the best shots ever. It's so good. But
best ever.
Yeah, best ever.
Everything's the best ever with you, Brad.
Like I said,
I know.
47 items on the top 10 list.
Hey. Resident Evil top 5 video game movies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brad.
So Mila Jovovich injured 3 crew members, including punching the director in the face. Consequently, they were engaged within a year.
Yeah, I knew
Wow.
That. Yeah. Paul W.S. Anderson. The word zombie is never spoken in the film. Nor do they use the workarounds, like basically because that's everybody does that now, where they don't actually say the word zombie, but they use walkers or whatever else it may be, infected. But they work around all that. And finally, a newspaper says "The Dead Walk," which is a reference to Day of the Dead.
Hey.
Throughout the movie. So thumbs up, thumbs down.
I give it a thumbs up.
I'll give it a thumbs up. I wasn't too crazy about the movies. I'm definitely not too crazy about how long it's gone on.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely past its prime. I mean, yeah, the first couple of movies were pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think some thumbs up for me too. Just because I mean it's another one of those franchises that's kind of easy to develop because you've got an actual story there that actually works well for a game. For a movie. Well, for both.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point. But I mean, they got their adventure heading into the hive, and you got it, pretty clearly laid out what you need to do, and they had enough. And this is the thing for me is they had enough references to the game, like homages, rather than just casual reference of hey, we're doing but something that actually works, like the dogs through the window. Yeah. So next up is Doom. Came out in 2005.
I wish I would have seen this. I've only seen the first-person segment, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
I wish I would have watched this whole movie.
I've never seen it either.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. For what it is, again, it's another one of those, team members slowly getting picked off sort of thing. It's kind of sort of thing. Yeah. It's they need to. It's honestly, it's kind of like Resident Evil in that they've got a problem in an installation. A team gets sent in to clear things up, and in this case, they're trying to extract, scientists and the intel they've been working on about the 24th genome. I want to say it is the unlimited potential of the human experience. That can possibly be unlocked in an installation on Mars where they're researching such things as one does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they I don't know how I'm going to vote on this yet, which is good because we're not quite there yet. But I mean they do the similar things that they did in Resident Evil. They're trying to make references to the games, but it's not quite as successful, I would say. There's a pink demon. But,
there's the BFG, I remember.
Yeah, there's a BFG that's pretty much cut and dry, and it's pretty cool. But there's a pink demon, but it's really just this dude in a wheelchair named Pinky, and by the end of the movie he gets spoilers. By the end of the movie he gets infected and turns into a pink demon. Only he's got like the wheelchair hind legs instead of the mechanical hind legs like they had in Doom 3. There's imps all over the place, but they don't really look like imps. There's a Hell Knight, sort of. I think that's what they refer to. Again, spoilers. I think that's what they refer to Dwayne Johnson's The Rock character when he turns at the end of the movie, when he gets infected by the 24th genome thing. And basically the idea is that like it depends on, like, some people are good and turn into a more highly evolved human being. Some people are bad and they turn into like a monster, basically.
Right.
So when you get the Dwayne Johnson who's basically trying to kill everybody to keep the infection from spreading, he ends up turning into like a monster instead. And you get the hero who's Reaper, who is Carl Urban, which I think we said before. Yeah. He kind of turns into the superhuman thing, and then that's when the FPS sequence comes in.
Yeah.
Because once he injects himself, when he wakes back up, everything's in first person for like 5 minutes while he's kind of in overdrive, which is actually a really cool sequence. It took him 14 days to shoot, just a little 5-minute sequence. But it's since it's a lot of single camera shots.
Yeah.
It's like Birdman, really, if you think about it.
Well, Birdman's kind of in
Birdman.
Well, Birdman's kind of in its own category because they did the entire movie that way.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like a mini Birdman.
Yeah.
In the context of Doom.
And I don't know for sure without
Hell
looking
on
up.
Mars.
I don't know for sure without looking up that it was one continuous shot for 5 minutes. I just know that it was at the very least long shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other potentially interesting things. The locker storing the BFG is designated IDKFA, which is the all weapons cheat code, all weapons, all ammo cheat code. The end credits run at the end of the movie, obviously.
What?
Yeah, I know. The only names not shot are the ones that survived the movie. Because they kind of have this thing where, like, the credits are getting kind of blown away.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I give it a thumbs up from what I saw, if only for the first-person sequence.
Yeah. I think...
It's probably a bad movie. It's probably a thumbs-down movie with a thumbs-up sequence in it. So...
Yeah. I think I'm going to be kind and go thumbs up. Even though it's kind of borderline for me. Because, like I said, it's all about how well you adapt what's there. For me, anyway.
Yeah. It seems like it's a good adaptation. Like, it seems at least closer than other movies.
I think it's an okay adaptation. I think as a movie it kind of works. Because, for what that kind of movie is.
Right.
Yeah.
The big action movie, random dudes getting, random teammates randomly getting taken out by imps and whatever else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like we should skip the next one.
You want to skip Dead or Alive?
It's so bad, yeah. It's not even worth talking
pretty
about.
Awful.
Have you guys both
like
seen
a direct
it,
to DVD. No, but I mean, it's not on the same level as all the other movies.
Okay.
The other movies are actually like actual productions. I don't think Dead or Alive counts. It's like a fake movie.
Yeah, it was actually released, though.
Yeah, but it was like a DVD release. I don't think it came out in theaters.
I thought it did, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did, too. It was insane.
I have nothing to say about it. I mean,
we can speed through it then.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just,
So, DOA...
I thought it was like some kind of like straight-to-DVD like money laundering operation. I don't think it was a real movie.
I think they might have done a sequel that way. I'm not sure.
That might be what I'm
probably
thinking about.
a sequel, yeah. But I'm pretty sure the first DOA was a theater release.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
I didn't see it, but
I mean, it's your basic, it's another tournament movie, another fighting
it's
tournament
like
movie.
10 years later than the other ones, but it's the same style of like, hey, there's all these characters.
So
let's have them fight.
A little bit of setup, one-on-one battle. The difference is this time it's a whole bunch of hot chicks, and there's a random
Extreme
volleyball
beach
scene
volleyball.
because they have to bring in the extreme beach volleyball in there too.
sure.
Underrated masterpiece that game is. Top 10 Xbox games.
Oh, there you go again.
God.
I've never played it.
It's
I've totally never played it. I actually haven't. I have no idea what that game is.
So, other random factoid, 40 bikinis were ruined during the making of this film. The humanity.
that's just
The humanity.
man. That stuff gets expensive, man.
I guess so. I've never bought one myself.
I never, but I mean, like, you ever been inside, like...
It brings up a whole waxing situation I don't even want to contemplate.
Oh, man. Have you ever been inside of, like, designer swimsuits or, like, Victoria's Secret stuff? Like, that stuff is so expensive.
Okay, I've never been inside a designer
Oh,
swimsuit.
you've never had a girlfriend?
I've never been in you said, have you been in a designer swimsuit?
Oh, no, inside a store.
did
Victoria's
say that.
Secret. Sorry. Inside a store.
I was just being literal.
All right, my bad. Like, that stuff is expensive, man.
Yeah.
For
It was
that small amount of cloth.
That's where all the budget went on this. I bet it's like some pervy director like, let's make a movie based on Dead or Alive. Come here, these bikini. Oh, they broke. Let's go have more.
Oh my god.
That's what it is, basically.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
Sorry, I brought that up, guys.
I don't even know what it is. I haven't seen the DOA movie, but I'm giving it a thumbs down out of principle.
So I'm trying to remember who all was in it. Jamie Presley was in it. Devin Aoki was in it. Holly Valance.
I don't know any of these names.
See, that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
That's part of the reasoning behind it. I think Kevin Nash was in it.
Sounds familiar.
I think she was Jamie Presley's dad or something like that. I'm not familiar with the games in this case
Right.
that much, so I don't know.
I've only
the
played one Dead or
characters.
Alive game.
But
They're not good. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think
they were like a 3D, 2D. Like you could change planes, right? Like
Yeah, well,
it was
it's
kind of
kinda
like Soul
like Soul
Calibur.
Calibur.
Yeah. Okay. So I've played one.
Light
of them.
bulb.
Light bulb.
Soul Calibur, awesome game.
Soul Calibur, fantastic game.
Game that fell from grace, really, with the sequels.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing. That was Soul Calibur 2 was like incredibly good.
Yeah, I played 3. I obviously played 2. 2 is awesome. I played 3. It was okay, but
Did you play the Yoda one, the fourth one? It was decent.
No.
They had Star Wars characters.
was 3 on 360?
3 was on PS2, 4 was on 360.
Okay,
and
maybe I
5
played
was
4.
on 360. Or
Maybe I
maybe,
played-
I don't know, I might be wrong. But the PS3 version had Darth Vader, and the Xbox 360 version had Yoda.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, which version had Link?
2.
2. That's right.
Soul
Yeah,
Calibur
2 on
1,
GameCube.
though, was like one of the best Dreamcast
Yeah,
games.
it was Link,
Spawn
Spawn,
on Xbox.
and
Who's on
it was on
PS2?
PlayStation.
It was like a Tekken character or something kind of lame like
It does
that.
sound familiar.
It was like, I don't know.
I mean, Spawn and Link, kind of. That's like
But
holy
even
crap!
still, like Link, like how do you get better than Link?
Well, yeah, I remember seeing that and being really stoked for both Spawn and Link when it came out. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool! And then I was like,
That's one of the few GameCube games I sold a lot of them, but I've got like all my favorite ones back. That's one that I like totally need still. I love that game.
Yeah.
good game.
So anything more on Dead or Alive the movie?
Not at all.
No.
Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down, I think, is fair.
Yeah,
Thumbs down.
Although, I mean, I appreciate the eye candy at the time.
Yeah.
sure.
I have
Still
no
do.
comment.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've never even seen a still from this movie. Like,
There's a fun fight sequence with Holly Valance. I'll just leave that be.
Yeah,
Next up, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time came out in 2010.
this one was pretty big, right?
This one had a lot of expectation. I thought.
Yeah.
I was excited
Jerry
going
Bruckheimer,
into this.
producer.
Yeah.
They were Disney thought
Jake
this was
Gyllenhaal,
going
right?
to be They thought it was going to be like the next Pirates and all this stuff, but
Yeah,
not quite.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Gemma Arterton. I want to say.
Yeah, something like that.
I always get confused on the pronunciation there.
This
I mean-
one got in a lot of controversy about it's a white guy playing the Prince of Persia.
That's fair.
So that was where a lot of the liberal
I do
Hollywood
remember.
criticism
I do
came out.
remember a lot of flack for that.
Well, it's pretty much all white guys,
Yeah,
or because all of them were.
This is Disney, though. Keep in mind.
Ben Kingsley can kind of pull off
yeah, he's like
a little
half
bit of ethnicity.
Indian-ish, something like that.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal, not Gemma Arterton.
This one had this weird like political tone to it too. Like this was like right when the Tea Party was happening, and like Obama was a year into his presidency, and I don't know, it just felt weird. Like
You're sure you're not putting your own thing in there?
no, I remember a lot of reviews. No, because there's this guy.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying. No, I remember a lot of reviews specifically. There's like this character in the movie that is like this Tea Party patriot, essentially. Like he's trying to overthrow and capitalism, and like I don't know. It was very weird. It felt very forced. It felt very un-Disney. It felt like impure. Like, ew, why are you trying to do this?
Well, it was a PG-13 Disney movie.
It was the
as according to this
First,
tidbit here.
or the
Yeah,
second one.
yeah.
Nice.
The second one released under the Disney banner. Curse of the Black Pearl was the first one. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
the first
yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean was the first PG-13.
Were the others not?
I think the others came. No, the others all came after.
They all
I
came
guess.
after.
Yeah, so I guess they might have been PG. It must have been PG.
Wow.
Or maybe this was the second like franchise. Like if you count Pirates of the Caribbean
As
as
a
one
whole.
big thing, and this
No,
is the
no,
second
no.
one.
Because it specified Curse of the Black Pearl, rather
That's
than
weird.
just saying
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So I wonder if they weren't.
I remember
I don't know.
Curse of the Black Pearl totally being PG-13, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I remember
the other
being-
two weren't.
Well, they were a little bit more stabby in that first one.
No, absolutely.
It's like
Whereas
scary
by the time you
looking.
got to
They,
the second and third one, it was everything was just a little bit more backstabby.
Sure.
I mean, that's all the movies were about at that point.
And like there was a lot of sword fights, but no one actually stabbed each other. It was all just like ting 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 ting.
Yeah.
Oh, this goofy stuff happens, and like the wheel scene, and
I remember that.
a lot of goofy stuff got in the way of actual fighting.
Yeah.
But because
in the, I was going to say in the first one, because everyone was zombies or skeletons or whatever, you could do a lot more of actual
there's just
stabbing.
bones.
Because
Exactly.
you kind of realized that, or they thought that their audience would realize that it's not
Right.
you can run them through and it doesn't matter.
Of course, didn't a little bit of blood squirt out when Barbossa got killed?
Yeah, I remember that specifically.
Or not a little, maybe not like squirt out, but like you saw like the blood.
Yeah, they like
thick in
stab him in the moonlight when he's a zombie, and then they kick him,
shoot him,
or they something like that. But like I remember there's a scene where they're like the moonlight is peering through, and like when they go through the moonlight, they're zombies, and when they're not, they're like in human form. Or
and like when he comes out, then
was, like, such an
you get
awesome
like the
sequence.
spreading pool of blood.
Yeah,
right? Because that's
what it is.
when he breaks the curse,
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow shoots him.
and then Jack Sparrow shoots him, and then Will breaks the curse, and then all of a sudden,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
He
So,
does
okay.
the blood in the treasure chest.
I can see how that
and
would be a little more PG-13.
That's a great movie. God, I love that.
Oh, the
movie.
first one was fantastic. It
Yeah.
got a little crazy at the end, but
I
first
think
one
of
was
that
fantastic.
fight sequence specifically where they're like running up like they're along the side of a wall, and it is like that moonlight
Yeah.
peering.
Yeah,
in.
that kind of curved
and they're going
staircase
in
up
and
the-
out of like ghost mode. Oh, that's so
One,
cool.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoy Jack Sparrow the character throughout the franchise.
He just can't carry a movie on his own, which we
Yeah.
learned with the fourth one.
Sure.
Yeah.
and the fifth one's gonna be more of the same. Dead men
There's-
tell no tales.
There's a fifth one.
It starts
They're working
filming
on it,
like
yeah.
right now.
Oh God, why?
But
Okay.
this was
Anyway,
the
Prince of Persia.
This
Prince of Persia.
was Disney's attempt. Prince of Persia was Disney's attempt at another PG-13 mega blockbuster.
Yeah.
Um,
Which, as time told,
Well,
Didn't work out.
You see that Pirates becomes the exception, not the rule, because
Yeah.
they tried it with this. They tried it with John Carter of Mars,
Yep.
another dud. They tried it with The Lone Ranger, another dud.
Yep.
Except that these movies, except for Prince of Persia, but John Carter, I never saw it. But by a lot of counts, it was a good movie. It was just kind of marketed badly, and I don't know. I heard good things about it.
I didn't care for it.
But Lone Ranger, dear God, that movie is the most underrated movie of the past probably 5 years.
Really?
Like, that movie's awesome.
No, it's
I loved
not.
it. Did you see it?
It is too damn long.
I loved every second of it. The
Oh, no.
the ending sequence when they're on the train, that literally is one of the best action sequences.
I will
ever.
give you that. The train sequence was very
It was
good.
so good.
Okay.
It was like unbelievable. Like I remember, like my jaw was dropped. Like, what is this? How did this movie get better reviews? Like, this is awesome. There were like there was way too much plot going on. There's like 3 villains.
Yeah.
And they all mix and match and meet up and take over.
This
It's
is
a
the
little
part where
complicated.
Brad takes apart his own argument and realizes that it's not actually that good.
Well, no, I'm just that's the only flaw is that there is
never
it's
admit
too
to
much packed into it. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But I think it's completely underrated.
was
it
over-
got
Yeah,
trashed.
but Brad, don't try to
in the
deny
reviews.
that. Like every time you say something's really good, and then you dissect it, and then it sounds worse than it
know,
actually
I
is.
know.
It was a bad movie, but I will admit that it did suffer from pile-on. Once
I think
people
that's what it
started-
was. I think people started judging it based on, it's going to be a flop.
Yeah.
And they weren't judging it as the movie that it actually was.
But still,
Right.
it was not a good movie.
I disagree.
No.
I thought it was a great movie. Quentin Tarantino named it one of the top 10 movies of 2014.
So Prince of Persia.
Not that he's like my moral compass that like I go to.
Nor should he be.
Yeah. I don't know.
So Prince of Persia, the dagger that they use in the game, because it's Sands of Time, holds 1 minute worth of sand, and they actually make it work throughout the course of the movie. Like whenever they rewind a sequence, all of the time adds up to what would actually work. It's kind of like in a movie where like they actually count the bullets that would be in the
Yeah.
chamber. Like they're actually paying attention to it, which I thought was kind of cool.
Are you feeling lucky, punk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a circular camera move, kind of like a spin around sort of thing they do at one point. That's an homage to Assassin's Creed, which was a spiritual successor to Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So who saw this one?
I saw it.
Okay, thumbs up.
I saw it in theaters. I remember there being kind of cool big special effects scenes, like one where they're falling through a castle of sand or something like that, and like the things are falling and it's like all intense.
Yeah,
But that's like the only good thing. I remember there being a lot of really dumb plot points.
yeah. They kind of do this whole successor sort of thing because he has a couple of brothers, and like who's going to be in charge of the kingdom and all that sort of stuff. That's just kind of felt like was weighing it down.
I want to
know how I
rewatch
feel.
it to solidify my feelings. But I remember when I watched it, I saw it in theaters. I love the Prince of Persia games. Like,
Yeah.
Sands of Time on GameCube was amazing. I
Yeah,
even like
absolutely.
Warrior Within, even though a lot of people hated it. Godsmack, blah blah blah. But you didn't know that Godsmack did the soundtrack to the
Oh
second
wow,
Prince of Persia
I already
game?
hate it.
I remember at the end credits, it's like, I stand alone.
Oh no.
It was,
no.
It's not what you'd expect. They also did the soundtrack to The Scorpion King with The Rock.
I knew that, but
Yeah. But this movie, I'll give it a thumbs up because it's at least, it's kind of like in the same way that Tomb Raider and, what was the other one?
Street Fighter? Or no,
No.
Mortal Kombat?
No, Tomb Raider and Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
That they were like an actual movie. Like it has at
Yeah,
least it has a good
yeah.
script. At least it has not good, but like passable
was okay.
script, and it has good actors in it.
None of these are Oscar winners, but you know,
No.
some of them are okay.
But I think
as
Tomb
movies.
Raider, Resident Evil, and this one are above the rest in that there's at least a little bit more care given to
Okay.
those. It seems
Well,
like
and I would honestly,
by care I mean
we
money.
already established that Tomb Raider is probably the best one, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean that in my opinion was actually a legit good movie. Like I would
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
go back and watch it. Like
Even if it wasn't based on a video
none
game.
of these
like
movies, I'd view them maybe once, and I think I would never
Yeah.
go back and see them again.
Yeah.
I think the rest of them kind of get that qualifier. It's pretty good for a video game movie. Yeah.
Right.
Tomb Raider is at least a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a cool action
Right,
adventure,
yeah.
hot chick, whatever.
Whereas Prince of Persia is pretty good for a video game movie.
Sure,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that leads right into our. We'll just go ahead and do the final discussion. We can talk Movie Bowl here in just in a sec. But since we're here anyway, what makes for a successful movie adaptation?
I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I still don't think it's been captured.
Okay.
There's certain games like Last of Us might get it right. The movie that
Yeah.
isn't developed.
That is
Yeah.
the best chance they got.
That's the
in
best
making
chance of
it
being a
right,
good movie.
because the game feels like the movie.
Metal Gear Solid would be great if they could pull it off, but I just don't see it
No,
happening.
no.
I think
I
that
think that
one's-
would be a better TV show. There's so much plot in the first Metal Gear game that like you can't fit that into a 2-hour movie.
I think that one's is potentially going to suffer the same pitfalls as Spirits Within, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, definitely.
Because from a localization standpoint, because it's so kind of out there, it's so kind of weird. I kind of wonder
I don't
how
know.
well they.
Spirits Within doesn't even feel like it has a story. It just seems like it's a bunch of special effects
Well-
with like a bunch of like.
Some people would say that about Metal Gear.
No, Metal Gear at least has like a protagonist with goals and people standing in the way, and there's changes that happen to him. Like
Well, Final Fantasy does too. It's just
not
it's,
the movie.
It's
the Final
weird.
Fantasy movie is just like an art film with like $100 million graphics. I don't know. I don't think there's like. I haven't seen it forever, but
right.
Metal Gear Solid is like an action movie. Like it feels like it could have been made in the late '90s, like as the game. I mean, I think that one lends
We'll
itself.
see.
But there's just so much stuff packed into it that it would be too much for one
Well-
movie. They'd have to do like a TV series or like a Netflix series of Metal Gear. I think that would be a lot better.
Well, limited might work.
Well,
Yeah.
that's actually kind of what I was going to say. Because around the time when we were all talking about doing this episode, me and my friend had just had this conversation, and I honestly believe it's physically impossible for a good movie translation for video games. There's too much lack of freedom that gaming actually has. And
You need to be in control, which you'll never
Right.
be in a movie.
no, it's absolutely impossible. You're always gonna have your fans who are gonna be like, "Oh, this is not the same as just a video game." And you know, the acting was terrible, the writing was terrible, everything's terrible. You know, these are multiple hour games we're talking about here. Like Metal Gear Solid, how many hours do you put into a Metal Gear Solid franchise?
That's
Final
the biggest
Fantasy,
problem, yeah.
Resident Evil, all these games. These are 20-hour plus games trying to fit into a 2-3 hours at most
Yeah.
feature film. It's just impossible. You could, like, I remember talking about Mass Effect movies. That's impossible.
That's
Yeah,
impossible.
no one-
You have to do like a Star Trek. You'd have to make it a series.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Right.
the only way any of these would have a chance.
But even then, Mass Effect,
Even with the game, you have to have the codex to know what's going on in the world because there's
Yeah.
so much there.
yeah.
It's the same way with Dragon Age. With
Yeah.
it's BioWare. It's just the way they work. Their worlds are so big.
I will say the Warcraft movie that comes out in 2016 has a chance of being a decent one.
Excellent, because that's my next question: is which of the upcoming movies, and either on this list or elsewhere, do you think has the best chance? So you're saying
definitely.
Warcraft?
Duncan Jones, the director, he's like a actual hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
I think that he understands it better than like someone like Paul W.S. Anderson or
They're making another Hitman movie.
Yeah, there was a Hitman movie.
There was a Hitman movie. It was pretty terrible.
The new one comes out this August. Same thing with there was another one that had like a reboot-ish thing coming.
Right.
Oh, but Assassin's Creed is another one that could be decent.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender. He's a good actor.
I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm gonna say Angry Birds.
I think
it'll be a successful franchise.
it's
It'll sell some crap.
one. I think it's kind of past its prime. I don't think it's part of
definitely.
the cultural
Yeah.
zeitgeist like it was.
Definitely.
But at the same time, though, I feel
Isn't
like
it being made by like Nickelodeon? I think it might.
that makes
I
sense.
think it might be like a Nickelodeon channel movie. Like I don't think it's an actual
Oh,
theatrical.
well, I'm just saying, like, there's no set lore to
Yeah.
Angry Birds, so I feel like it could be successful because you have a lot more freedom to just create your own. While all these other movies have their own lore. I mean, all these other video games have their own lore,
Yeah.
their own characters, all this stuff. It's just
The Pikmin short movies are pretty good. Pikmin is not a story intense game, but I really like
anything
the
not story intense. Of
Miyamoto
course, then again,
Pikmin
Mario Brothers is not very story intense.
game. We saw how that turned.
And we saw how that turned out.
Yep.
But I'm voting for Warcraft. I'm actually excited about Warcraft.
I am,
I
too.
think there's a lot of good lore there. I loved Warcraft 3. I never played World of Warcraft, but
Yeah.
Warcraft 3 was awesome,
Yeah,
and
Warcraft 3 was
I can
amazing.
see why you guys would say that, especially considering World of
it's like
Warcraft.
Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just a good fantasy. There's these warring factions and all this stuff. Like it lends itself really well to that.
I'd
Yeah.
rather see a StarCraft movie.
That would be awesome. Maybe if Warcraft.
Kerrigan!
Oh, that would be so awesome. I didn't know how much I wanted a StarCraft movie until
Until
said
I
that.
just said that?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I need it now. I can't die unless the StarCraft movie comes out.
Alrighty. Well, we've reached the end of our show, gentlemen.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
It's been good.
So, you can listen to us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, or TuneIn. Like us on Facebook at GamerFeed. You can follow us on Twitter at GamerFeedRadio. You can read our thoughts on GamerFeedRadio.com, where we write articles from time to time. You can send us an email at GamerFeedRadio@gmail.com, or you can watch us from time to time on Twitch, GamerFeed Radio. You can also watch us on YouTube.
If you just Google Gamerfeed Radio, you'll end up
You'll find
somewhere.
everything.
Pretty much, we're all over the place.
You know
Come
how
check
to
us
find
out, or come back and listen to us next week.
Sure
Live
thing.
long and prosper.
See you
Live
then.
long and prosper. R.I.P. Spock.